Hear me out, okay? The New York Jets look like geniuses, okay? Look, on March 10th, 2025, they brought Justin Fields in after the failed Aaron Rodgers experiment. And they said, you know what? Let's give him a low risk, very high reward contract, a pretty much a 1-year prove-it deal. If you can string along some wins, Justin Fields, we'll give you this long-term deal. And as we know, Justin Fields strung along some very bad losses and played historically bad. In week 1, though, he played very well. He showed some flashes, some potential right there, but again, losing like 7 games in a row, getting sacked every other play, he couldn't go through his progressions, and overall just a failed experiment. And during the trade deadline, the New York Jets traded away Sauce Gardner and Quentin Williams and got back 3 first-round picks and giving them 5 first-round picks overall over the next 2 seasons, man. And going into 2026 with the 4th most salary cap space, with 4 top 100 picks in the NFL draft, the Jets actually can come out of the 2026 offseason as massive winners if they play their cards correctly. And in today's video, I'm just going to show you guys kind of a rebuild slash what the Jets can do in 2026. Now, first thing is first, this is a long-term project. Okay, this offseason is going to be the stepping stones for the future. As we know, they're probably going to lose Justin Fields, so you need a quarterback. Breece Hall does not want to be there. You're going to lose your running back. You don't have a starting cornerback. Brandon Stevens, he sucks. Just overall, like this is going to be a massive U-Haul truck coming through and revamping up this roster, because you need a lot of position fields this offseason. Now, the only positive thing I can really think about for the Jets on this roster is them having their tackles for the future, okay? Both Olu Fashanu and Ahmed Mimbu, when healthy, these dudes were really good. They're both really young. Ahmed, being drafted in 2025, had a really great rookie year. He gave up 0 sacks to TJ Watt in week 1. Dude was phenomenal. And then Olu Fashanu, same thing. I had really high hope for both of them going into the league, and the fact that the Jets got both of them, one's at left tackle, one's at right tackle. You have your 2 tackles for the future, and if you can get a quarterback, he's going to be well protected in the passing game. Now, going with the draft, I know it's early, okay? Like, we're not even out of the college football playoffs, but I don't see Dante Moore going to the Jets, okay? He's not that good to me of a prospect. He played IU twice, and he just shown not that good of flashes versus really good teams. And although he played, well, I'm be honest, he didn't play good versus Texas Tech. I just don't see him going to the Jets and the Jets viewing him as their franchise quarterback. Now, I do see a guy like Arvell Reese going to the Jets, and him going to the Jets is going to be like him being Abdul Carter with the Giants, kind of being like that hybrid linebacker and edge. He can line up over the center and guard, win some pass rushes, or they may take out Will McDonald and put him at edge. They may just have him be a linebacker. Or I can see Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain is a big body. He is a force to be reckoned with. Okay, he is a dominant edge, and somehow, some way, they will fit all 3 of those guys being on the field together. Okay, and that is their first round selection. Okay, their second one is dead middle at number 16. That's from the Colts, from the Sauce Gardner trade. I can see them getting a corner, Avion Terrell from Clemson or Jermar McCoy from Tennessee, because their cornerback play was just disgusting. I mean, their secondary had literally 0 interceptions all season long. I mean, has there ever been a time where just like a team had 16, 17 games and got a grand total of 0 turnovers, takeaways, no interceptions? That is just disgusting. That's these are grown men, by the way. Like these are professionals. That is terrible. Terrible. You got to get that address. You got to get some kind of playmaker to turn the ball over, or at least be a shutdown corner. Okay, I mean, because Sauce Gardner, he's been declining. You got to at least have a shutdown corner or a playmaking corner. Now, that is just the first 2 picks. Again, they got 2 other picks in the top 100. I'm not going to sit here and go through all that. I'm sure they can find somebody if their scouting department does a really good job, or whoever they like during those rounds, perfect. But the first round picks, I do love doing those. Again, getting a playmaking cornerback, Avion Terrell or Jeremiah McCoy with your second first round pick, and with the second overall pick in the NFL draft, getting either Ruben Bain or Arvell Reese. Now, realistically, I do see them getting Dante Moore just from a realistic standpoint, but me personally, I wouldn't get Dante Moore, so they more than likely will get Dante Moore with the second overall pick. Now, if they do not, who's going to be their quarterback for 2026? I do see a guy like Kirk Cousins being a bridge quarterback for 1 year, and them drafting a quarterback in the later rounds. The guy from Oklahoma, Mateer. If Ty Timpson falls, which I don't see him falling, I do see that. But I do see Kirk Cousins being like on his final deal year ever with the New York Jets, just from the standpoint of being a bridge quarterback. Kind of like Joe Flacco. There's no expectations. You're on a losing team. Just go out there and just have fun. That's basically all that Kirk Cousins will be doing for the team. Not trying to do a playoff push because they still want to build the team with really good draft picks. Now, outside of them bringing a bridge quarterback, I do see just a defensive back overhaul coming in for them in 2026. There are some really solid names in the free agency market. You got guys like Jamel Dean, Eric Stokes, Greg Newsome, Josh Jobe. You have some names that are way better than what you have right now on your team. Brandon Stevens, you got to cut that dude. He is terrible. He sucked at Baltimore, and he sucks even more at New York. Don't see him returning in 2026. All I'm trying to say is you can bring in anybody in that secondary, and it will be way better in 2026, okay? Because I'm being so harsh because in 2025, it was just laughable how bad they were. A grand total of, again, 0 interceptions in 2026. Now, there is one problem about the Jets moving forward, and that's what to do with Breece Hall. Breece Hall, I believe he voiced out his frustrations that he did not want to be in New York, and New York kept him. They could have traded him to a contending team for like a third round pick, but they opted not to do that. And so you want to keep him. He doesn't want to be there. The only way to really keep him is to pay him, is to overpay him. But nobody really believes in paying running backs unless you're Saquon Barkley or Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry. But besides that, nobody really believes in paying running backs. And I love Breece Hall as a running back. He's a fantasy beast, but I don't see him returning to the Jets in 2025. Braylon Allen will probably be the starting running back, or if they find one in free agency or during the draft, that would be their running back. But I don't see Breece Hall being their 2026 running back. Realistically, I just don't see that happening. Now, ultimately, there is one minor thing that needs to play in the Jets' favor so they can have a successful 2026 season, and that's Aaron Glenn's coaching. Okay, now I'm not a coaching guru. I'm not I'm not a football coach. I'm not going to sit here and talk about all this coaching stuff, X, Y, and Z, 4, 5, and 6 equals 23. But I will say, if Aaron Glenn doesn't show any signs of progression in 2026, with the amount of draft capital that they have, the amount of cap space, and they have some really good talent on this team, I do not see him being a coach in 2027. Or matter of fact, halfway through the season in 2026, they can get rid of him. Okay, they did it with Robert Salah, and they'll do it with Aaron Glenn. And coaching really does matter. Okay, even though the coaches are not on the field playing, like Mike Vrabel is a really good example of, you need a good coach so that way you can have a really good team. Sets really good culture. And if Aaron Glenn can't set that culture for them early on in the season in 2026, he will not be coaching for the Jets ever again. I can just be honest with you, okay? And it don't matter what they get. They can get Arvell Reese, they can get Mike Evans out of free agency, they can get Khalil Mack, they can get all these people, and they'll be 0-8 again. It's all about if Aaron Glenn could lead these group of men to victories and give hope to the organization and the city of New Jersey. I didn't say New York, by the way. But anyways, man, that's just my thoughts for the New York Jets. Comment down below if you like this video. or just share your thoughts on this video. This is like my second time doing something like this for 2026. I know it's very early. We're not out the playoffs. These aren't my final thoughts. These are just my way too early predictions and like thought process as we have concluded through the 2026 season and going into the off season. Hey man, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we out. Peace.